Hi friends, this is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Swai from Maharishi Dayananda University, Rohtak. Today we are going to discuss about a module, automation of special library and services under the paper, special and research libraries. My mentor is Professor I.V. Malan, Central University of Himachal Pradesh. Well, learning objectives of the module are as follows. The operational definition of library automation. Library automation is a prerequisite for digital library. The need of library automation and the automation process. Getting ready and how to start with library automation. Working through a library software, different modules, cataloging, opaque, circulation, acquisition, serial controls, and add-on modules. Role of standards in case of software, international communication format, controlled vocabularies, user interface, information retrieval, and finally the feedback. These are the learning objectives. After viewing this program, one can learn. To begin with, the definition of library automation. If you remember at the beginning, I say operational definition. Operational definition is like many definitions are always too broad and too narrow. So operational definition works here. I prefer library automation is when library operation is conducted by the use of any machine, especially the computers, or in modern sense using information and communication technologies, that's called ICTs, while replacing manual system fully or partially. I have a word use a word fully or partially because largely we understand library automation is when a system is replaced by computer or machine. It's not possible. Always human intervention or manual operation, maybe to some extent, is always there. So that's why I call it operational definition. Well, friends, prerequisite for a digital library. This library automation. Why do I say? Probably people from library science communities or librarians, they certainly sometimes feel that library automation is obsolete and there's no more in currency. That means nobody talks of library automation these days. So I just like to, it's a myth I've used, it's a myth. It's not that. In simple, for establishing and maintaining a digital library, automation is very much essential. Without library automation, digital library is not possible. We may not talk of library automation with that enthusiasm we are talking of 1980s, but invisibly at the background for a digital library, automation is a must. Without that, we cannot go ahead with any digital process. Need of library automation. Let us discuss the need of library automation, though very difficult to limit what are exactly the needs, but some of the major points can be read out here. Though library automation, it is easier to introduce new library products and services. It helps its clients in accessing information widely. Through this dissemination of information, again it is user-friendly. Maximum use of resource sharing is possible through library network. The user can search and use the resources of other libraries through their parent institutes. As I told you, need of library automation. So automation not only provides an automated environment inside the library, at the same time it facilitates the system, the library, to get maximum, optimum benefit out of this automated system. Both library people, library professionals, those who are working in the library, at the same time they are clients also. So in this sense, library automation is very much essential. Well, but difficulty is how to go ahead with this process of library automation. If you go statistically in India, in major cases you find automated libraries. Difficult in the sense, process of automation, though seems easy and simple, in reality it is not. The entire process involves the very idea of going for automation till the feedback and modification at the end. Though it seems easier, to say, it's not that easy, because it involves a number of issues, maybe technical issues, maybe non-technical issues, maybe the professional issues, maybe the legal issues. So all these things cumulatively to be considered before going for library automation. Before that, any automation we talk of, as we have mentioned, and we will be discussing this in this module till end. So automation, the concept of automation is through the information technology, through ICTs, and through the computers. So for this library automation process, the first and foremost is that library software. As we discussed above, library automation is possible through computing and networking facilities. The process begins with a library software. A library software is a specially designed software for library purposes, though there are many available in the market. So, but few are very useful. By looking at fulfilling the objectives of a library, which software to be used, it depends upon the decision taken by the concerned library on the basis of availability of sufficient font, nature of library, and what the patrons expect from the library services. In Indian case, rather in most cases, university and special libraries use LIFSIs designed and marketed by a private firm, and the smaller libraries, they go for SOLE, a software which is available through government agency Inflinet, and sometimes they make their own. And engineering colleges also, they use sometimes the softwares developed by their students, MTech or PhD students, in the form of their projects. Getting ready, how to move ahead with the automation process. Getting ready for the automation involves the activities of classification, cataloging, including indexing. To put it in more technical terms, automation process will be a success story through discussion of different modules as follows. What are the modules? Modules may be defined in this way. Modules are operational smaller divisions to execute the entire library operation. So cataloging modules. This is used for creating a library database, which while storing, retrieving, and managing the bibliographic records of the concerned library. In this module, it is also defined the type and form of a record format used in the database. Through authority control and other aspects of the catalog entries, including subject headings, are manipulated by the authority control. So in this module, many things are defined, clearly defined. Again, I am reminding, catalog is a tool. So this is very important aspect of feeding the elements of library or collections. So in this module, these things are well taken care of. Further, this module allows two interfaces, both for the authority. Authority means here the library people or librarians, and for the users. The authority access and control the module in terms of editing, both at the level of adding and deleting certain, whenever it is required, any elements by going to the master file of the catalog module. Again, it allows the users to search and display of the results through OPAC, which is the short form, and is called Online Public Access Catalog. So little bit about OPAC, because OPAC is very much important and integral part of from the user's point of view while they search the library holdings or library materials or collections. OPAC, the users use the library search in an automated library through an electronic catalog. This facility is limited to searching the database and to have display of the results. Further, the users can search repeated times by using different keywords for their desired results. In OPAC, what happens, like it is open for the user specially. Sometimes they try whether the certain keywords, whether any documents are there in the library related to these keywords. So sometimes they fail, and different kinds of users are there. So the novices, the newcomers, they don't get the suitable words, keywords for searching. So they can, it allows for a repeated trial, so that once till they get their desired result. This is called OPAC, online public access catalog, and the library can spread this facility at different places of the campus, or can be connected to the internet, which is called web OPAC. OPAC, even if it has a different term, but for then general users, it is the very convenient medium to search catalog, especially electronically. So the research centers and big these days high-tech campuses are coming up. So these OPAC facilities through the nodal computers are spread all over physically in the campus, maybe in the library, in crowded places, sometimes in the canteen, sometimes in the hostels, and sometimes in cafeteria. So people can, specifically for searching the documents, they need not to come to the library for that purpose. And again, these days India is doing this moving very fast, connecting the library collections to the internet or the web. It's technically called web OPAC. Like in web OPAC, so anywhere we can, here in India, we can search the collections of Library of Congress in Washington DC, and there in America also, in Chennai, someone can search the library collections of MD University Rohtak, and here from Kurukshetra also, from Chandigarh also, we can find out the collections of the research centers or universities in Hyderabad, Pune, Mumbai, anywhere else. So this is web OPAC. Another module is called the circulation module. It's the core part of the library automation process. In the software, especially, this module is devoted to circulation. Circulation literally means the book transactions, issue, return, and other activities. This module helps in doing multiple activities of the library. It begins with lending services, issue, return, renewal, and requisition. So here what happens, like we can issue the book after the desired date, you can return the book, and sometimes renew your membership and renew the book itself. And sometimes the book is issued to someone and it's very much required, and you want once the book is returned and it will be issued by yourself, so you can automatically put your requisition through this module, maybe through your computers, maybe through your handset mobiles, and by visiting the library itself. So this module takes care of these activities. Further, this module also helps in defining a pattern, their types, their profiles, privileges, including transaction activities, loss of books, notifying overdues, and also calculating fines, if any. With the advent of modern machines, this often supports self-check-in and self-checkout facilities. I would like to, suggest to the viewers, if you are around a big city or big libraries, so RFID technology is being implemented, especially I'm saying I'm from Mercy Dayananda University, where we have this facility of, and this self check-in and check-out facilities are supported by this module. Friends, as we have discussed earlier in this module, acquisition is very important module in which procurement, purchasing, buying, everything is done. So maybe a little automatic process through software, and where human intervention will be there. In acquisition module, the entire activities regarding procurement, beginning with book approval, ordering, book deliveries are also maintained. This also helps in maintaining statistical jobs like verifying invoice, currency updates, locally defined discounts, including verifying the cost through ISBN numbers, whether the book is a local or foreign edition. Acquisition module helps because acquisition is the last step before any collection or book or library materials entering into the library. So it helps rather library staff to give a check in purchasing. Well, serial control module. Serials, serials control refers to all kinds of publication covered under serials. Most specifically refers to journals or periodicals. This helps in managing different serials, their publishers, their vendors, through it is purchased. So this helps in the entire serial, especially the purchasing the journals or the periodicals. This module, serials module, also maintains a profile of which people are recommended and from which department, or what are the who are those scientists or researchers or users recommended the serials, especially the journals or periodicals. This also helps in updating the database, in dropping, adding the collection on the basis of the cost, free or paid journals, and of course on the basis of the usage statistics. Interlibrary loan module. This module also helps, as I told you, resource sharing is very much needed and important aspect. By any means, no government, no states, even no organization can support fully the library collections. At some point of time, a user need a book which we don't buy in time. Even if we buy or purchase, it takes time. So in that case, and maybe a particular user is needing the book, so library doesn't feel to buy the book because it is occasionally used. So in that case, memorandum of understanding the libraries do with the neighboring and the libraries with from other states and other nations also. In that way, if the book is available or in other libraries, so we can lend the book for a specific period of time. For these activities, interlibrary loan module helps. It also maintains the data automatic. Like this module can further be used in the context of exchange of journal articles requested by other libraries. Once this interlibrary loan module was used for the books, but now this module is extended to accommodate the services of in journal articles also, because the research means the more dependence on journal articles than a book. So journal is not subscribed in a particular library, in a country, say in India, we have these facilities. This facility is supported by infinite policies. So we can request Kolkata University or Jadavpur University or Utkal University of Bhubaneswar to supply particular articles to us, maybe by print form if the book is not available, through online, so, or else the downloaded form. And similarly, it's a reciprocation. So that way this module helps, and this module also has promises in future to accommodate many services. Another module of the library automation I would like to tell my viewers, add-on module. This is an extra feature, like the activities which is not covered in any of the modules I have discussed or the defined by the particular library, so can be accommodated here in this module. So what kind of things are accommodated rather? This module helps in bigger libraries or very busy or very heavily used research or special libraries. So any activities comes randomly. If it doesn't suit to the other modules, you can keep all these services here. Add-on module is not specifically devoted to any particular activity of a library. However, the authority can go on adding if more number of activities have been developed by the library, and these activities can be accommodated here. This may differ from a library to another. Well, friends, so far we have discussed the basic concepts of library automation, but at the same time, a very important aspect which we all, especially the library professionals, should keep in mind, the role of standard, because technology means the standard. That doesn't mean, like suppose we are employing very basic thing, like suppose we are using a handset, a mobile phone, if doesn't support a basic standard, so probably it is obsolete and you cannot get the maximum benefit of that. So that's why people, especially in the design of smartphone, similarly certain standards helps us in doing this library automation now and in future also and times to come. So friends, as we have discussed the issues related to library automation, it will be successful technically when the standards are maintained. The basic reason is this: automation process is hectic, time consuming, and also very cost averse. Going by implementing standard aspects, so is very useful and for now and future. Resource sharing should be planned with international standards. Any library, we do talk of library activities. Library authorities should be cautious at the beginning while using library software. Though we are not discussing in detail as it is discussed in some other modules that an international featured library software can sustain all the activities times to come. Another standard to be maintained in terms of communication format with a internationally defined criteria. Friends, as the time is very short in this module, I would like to suggest to the viewers and those are interested in keeping the activities of libraries, go for a standard software. Standard can be maintained at different stages of library automation. From very beginning, the library software. Use a software which is having international featured and sometimes the local demands also, and it won't be obsolete in future that way. At the same time, other standards can be maintained. Say I have mentioned another standard to be maintained in terms of communication format with internationally defined criteria. Communication format means it's a very concept of library catalog where we enter the library data, the communication. So it should be internationally framed because in future our people, when we want to exchange our information or library holdings, library collections with other libraries both in India and in Western countries, in other parts of the globe. So there we may face difficulty because you don't face any difficulty. Maintain standard. So standards have been developed. Many organizations are working on this. say CCA format, Common Communication Format. UNESCO is involved, and RDA concept. The new versions of AACR 2, Anglo-American Cataloging Rules 2, have come up. So these are things to be kept in mind. Don't go by any local versions of, using any local ideas in the. I've mentioned another aspect, like as I told you, the many stages of the library automation process. Suppose we have very international standard technical aspect of library automation, but sometimes like non-technical aspects are very helpful to the technical aspects, like subject catalog, subject using subject heading. So there also the library people, those are catalogers involved in the cataloging process, use the terms or subject descriptors or subject tags derived from standard text. So that way we will maintain the library data should be entered in the catalog format with the international characters. At the same time, the key terms used in the subject entries must be derived from standardized thesaurus and other control. This aspect is very probably in Indian case, when we think of a successful library, a good library, we don't lack anything, technically. We have our people are very smart, especially the Indian librarians are very smart, and they are knowledgeable, they are up to date, they create even certain library softwares. The technical aspect is good. India is doing well, and we are recently the Digital India movement is a big slogan. But the problem comes when we provide the subject descriptors to describe a document. Either we are a bit slow, or we are not motivated. We should follow a standard text. And sometimes our own local indexing language also. So to retrieve, unless and until because after all, this library automation is very much needed and meant for the users to retrieve, to get their successful results without much taking the help of the library people. They self-help rather that way. So they can search the books anywhere. So when they go for the searching a book or any library materials, when they search by certain search terms, the book doesn't hit their search results. In that way, sometimes we are casual. So that way, this casual aspect bit to be removed and standard thesaurus to be used for the technical terms, for the subject descriptors. So this is also a kind of standard. User interface is very important in the context of library automation. Sometimes we do feel that we did a very good job and we automated our library through using the best of best software and using other skills, but doesn't help. The fruitfulness of library automation will come only when it is endorsed, it is given thumb up sign by the users. If they are happy, probably we can say that library automation is successful. So this is user interface. This user aspect of using should be taken care of. So as we will know, a library operation is successful only it satisfies its clients. Library automation is only a facilitator. In this sense, a successful automation process must involve the evaluation system by its use through the users. When the user interfaces the automated library system, whether they receive their desired results or not must be a criteria for evaluation, technically speaking. Yes, feedback. To modify our automated system, for its further development, we need feedback from the users. Users could be in context of a university library, users could be simple students, researchers, even the faculties. At the same time, in case of research and special library, especially the users are the scientists or the researchers. Friends, as we are closer to the end of this module, I would like to suggest that feedback system from the users is a must. Normally, we shouldn't ignore this aspect, because after all, library automation is a heavy cost affair. So that's why feedback must be from technical and non-technical point of view. Our important concern is through the technical aspect only. Accordingly, the automated system will be rectified and modified on the basis of users' feedback. Friends, it's time to say bye. Before I close off this module, I would like to summarize what we have discussed. Keep in your mind, especially people those we keep interest through students, researchers, librarians, other stakeholders, including the administrators, that library automation is a must for any kind of library in modern days, especially in India. And moreover, don't consider this library automation is an obsolete concept or outdated concept, because for invisibly, in hidden form, library automation is very much needed for going for any digital library. Then we discuss about what are the things to be considered for library automation. Users aspect is well taken care of. Very much software also. Software sometimes should be very standard software. Maybe sometimes the software developed by the private agencies cost very high. So in that case, the library people, the library people are very smart these days. So they can use open source software, Koha and others, so that, and again the modules to be clearly defined, and major modules are there. Though modules differ from one library to another, but modules should be there so that the smaller units to contribute the library automation. And finally, the feedback is very much important, because simply doing a library automation project, and we librarians and people, our community people or library, say librarians and his or her staff shouldn't be very happy by conducting this library automation project, unless and until we get the feedback from the users. So hope you liked this module, and although it was very brief, because it is only symbolically with the hint way the module is summarized. Thank you.